Well, hello, board members. We're trying something new this month because we are busy as all get out. We decided that this might be an easier way to communicate with you. So we're going to do a little video and hopefully keep it to about 5 minutes, but it'll give you an update on where we are in our CareerSource Capital Region. First, I'll start off with the national view. So, as you may know or have read, the Congress made cuts again to everybody's budget. And they haven't passed a full budget, so we're sitting with a small budget cut, which in our case is very minor, so it's not going to really affect our operations this year, thank God. National Association of Workforce Boards, we have applied for a chance to get in front of the groups and show our best practice, which is our model that we're running now at our Leon Center and at our Gadsden Center and soon Wakulla Center. And so that proposal has been submitted, and if accepted, then we'll have a whole group of us going up to that annual forum. The elections are certainly going to have a change in what our future funding is going to look like. Let's hope for the best. Side, we have CareerSource Florida has asked Cheryl Rayberg and myself to go in front of them this week and talk about our Georgia-Florida Workforce Alliance. We are both going to give a bit of personal history because both of us have lived on state lines and worked across state lines. And so we're really going to talk about how we have arrived at looking at this whole market and the fact that it is part of a unified labor market. It's a unified media market. And our hope is that we can share some of those ideas with the board of CareerSource. In December, the Northwest Florida region designated CareerSource Florida having a roundtable, and they're going to put together all of our education partners, all of our OEV and economic development partners and others who have responded positively to going already. I think it's going to be a good discussion, and our hope is that we start to develop more of a regional approach to what we do and align ourselves. I mean, that's going to be the key in the future, is our plan aligning with CareerSource Florida, aligning with all the other career sources in our region that are in the same market area, and also starting to align with Capital Area Community Actions Plan and other plans, and the OEV plan, obviously, and our Economic Development Partners Plan. They're trying to bring them all together with the idea that if we leverage everything properly, we're going to do a better job at meeting our needs. Florida Workforce Development Association, I'm on the Legislative Advocacy Committee, and we're going to get started on what we might look at for the coming legislative session here. And then Opportunity Florida, which is a rural, what we call a rural area of opportunity, an REO. This group represents Wakulla and Gadsden in our area and is designated as such. And so they get special legislative dollars from the legislature every year. And we are coordinating with them because 2 of our 3 counties fall under that. We met over at the Wakulla Environmental Institute just last week, where everybody got a chance to see what's happening with the oysters and where things are going on the building of the oyster farms out in the Gulf, and how things are moving forward with the hiring of folks in that area. The Office of Economic Vitality, OEV, you're going to hear that over and over again, and they unveiled their strategic plan last week. They also introduced Al Latimer as the new economic development lead for that office. So I met with Al last week for lunch, got to know him a little bit, and we shared some best practices and talked about the things that we might be able to do together. I continue to meet with Christina Paredes on a regular basis, once a month, and every so often Ben Pingree stops by too. So communications are open. We're talking about what we might do together. I think there's opportunity here to really work together and help each other out. Wakulla Environmental Institute, just to give you an update, the oyster training, oyster farmers. The oyster farmers now have realize that they need about 2 people for every boat in order to help them. So our goal is trying to find those folks, and we have found one, but they need 18 more. So if you know people that are interested in trying their skill out at being a aquaculture technician out on a boat, let us know. United Way kickoff for our CareerSource Capital Region. We set our goal for $11,000. The penny wars start today. Well, they kind of started early actually, and there's already some people that are like already wondering where we're going with this. So it's a fun thing for the staff to do, and we're really looking forward to how that moves forward in meeting our goal. Goodwill Industries. So I initiated discussions about transferring our clothing closets to them and looking for the potential of collaborative opportunities. Goodwill should be a really strong partner, just like Capital Area Community Action. So my hope is that over the next couple of months, we'll build that relationship and see what we can do together. They do a lot of things, including placement of people in jobs. It would be helpful if we did some things together. Capital Area Community Action, continue to have my conversations monthly with Tim Center and looking for additional collaboration opportunities. We're also talking about how after the first of the year we bring our 2 planning groups together and look at both of our plans that we have submitted to the state and start looking for opportunities of where we can align better. Continuum of Care, I am now the board chair, and we are embarking on a transition for our agency. Currently it is not a 501c3, so we will go after a 501c3 legal status. In order to receive HUD funding, we do have to get into that status, and there's a relationship restructuring with the Big Bend Homeless Coalition. We met with FSU's Department of Public Administration. I had lunch with her about 4 days ago, and our idea is to set up job shadowing and have them help us do some of the analysis that we're going to need to do with our Career Pathways Council. We've got a lot of data that we're collecting from all of the training providers, and we're collecting data from the employers that are on that committee. And our goal is really to start to make sure that we're filling the gaps where there are gaps in training, and our training providers providing what the business is looking for. The Florida-Georgia Workforce Alliance is meeting today, actually, Monday, at Pat Thomas Institute to discuss better collaboration with the corrections system in our region and across the state line. So we are all affected by the people that are that finally reach the end of their term there and they come out. And so how do we find ex-offenders jobs to keep them from going back into jail? Paychecks for Patriots is November 10th. That's Thursday this week. I invite all board members to stop by and see what we're doing and see the crowds that come to our events. It's at TCC Workforce Development building, and our goal there obviously is to hire veterans, and we have many of our businesses, some of our board members' businesses that are at the table looking for staffing help. GCDC meeting with Beth. I meet with Beth Kirkland every month. We are members of the Gadsden County Development Committee, and I sit on that committee, and we're moving forward. She's got some really exciting things going on, and so we're really happy to be part of at the table with them. With the Wakulla EDC, we're moving forward in the emerging oyster farming program. The next step is going to be a processing plant for the oysters. The goal is to really reach about 5 million oysters and a year and even more. So to do that, there's going to have to be oyster spat farm that's going to help develop the spat, which are the beginnings of an oyster, and get it to the point where it can continue on with what we're doing. Startup Quest pitch night is November 15th, 1 to 4 p.m. at Turnbull Center. I again encourage board members to come out and see what we're doing. I think it'll give you a good sense of some of the dollars and what we've spent and how we've helped people really look at their lives and do some things differently, and hopefully start some new businesses in our area. Arrow, which is the group of folks that help those burgeoning businesses. Cara continues to lead this group, and we're a resource for entrepreneurs, and we're coordinating between all of us that have different help that we can provide entrepreneurs. BPAC, she also has the new group on board this year, so their feedback is going to be helpful as we move forward. The Florida next meeting for the Florida Georgia Workforce Alliance is in November 18th in Thomasville. And so we'll meet with them and continue to talk about how we might go after a couple of grants together. Staff training on Employee Georgia website is this week also. So we've realized that we know Employ Florida website, but we need to know Employ Georgia website. They're both run by the same company, GSOL, and so there's a lot of similarities, but at the same time, if we're going to be a good resource for our business community, we've got to be looking within the labor market, which includes South Georgia. Tallahassee Leon Credit Union received a large grant, $1.5 million, and have approached us along with the city to see if we can participate in financial literacy and how we might do that in the community. And then finally, the city of Tallahassee, we're preparing for the next Tech Hire grant opportunity, and so all the partners have gotten together, looked at our last submission, and starting to work on a new submission for Finally, operations, just to keep you up to date. We get reports monthly and quarterly from Dynamic Workforce Solutions on the progress of rolling out our new operational model. So performance metrics are about as we expected, with a focus on welfare transition and SNAP to catch up to all of the follow-ups that we have to do with those folks. It's really a training issue. We've been doing intense training since August in order to get the new people that are on board to be able to handle both SNAP and welfare transition. But in the end, it's all about how do we get anyone that walks into our place a job. That's our goal. New staff continue to be trained and rolled into the operations as their competency improves. And our ROPC team has been providing technical assistance throughout the ramp up. So the good news is that the board staff is making sure that what's being trained and how they're being trained is matching what we need to do in order to meet our performance. So far, performance measures are on track, so we're looking good. In fact, we're one of the best in the state in a couple of areas. And then finally, as I sent out to you last week, James Moore audit came back spotless, and Matt did a super job. So with that, that's our shortened version, and hopefully you can give us a little feedback on whether you like this approach or not. It should not get stuck in your spam filter. I hope not. And you can give us feedback as to if you're liking this way, because you can reach this and listen to me anytime. Thank you.
CareerSource Capital Region, solutions that work.